you were running starting yourself as a hybrid car. Well, when you're a human hybrid, you actually run on ketones combined with glucose. And most people just run on glucose, which is like gasoline. Yeah, but why don't you run on their batteries and the ketones and become a hybrid? Yeah, I'm trying to eat less in between meals and burn a few ketones. I haven't eaten this morning, so this is a ketonic podcast. For the first time in a long while, he eats with relish. His movements take on vigor, his color returns. Well, I don't know if I'm eating with relish, but if I get hungry enough and I'm not eating, I can eat with relish. For the first time in a long while, he eats with relish. His movements take on vigor. His color returns. Yeah, my color has gotten better. And when I was when I did fast, when I fasted, the age blog. Yeah, it's a good word for blog. The age blog on my head goes away. Oh, you mean the age blog blocks, blodges, or blockers, or blockages? You have ages in there. Yeah, you get these age, what are they? Age things on your head when you eat ultra-processed foods. Really? Yeah, and then if you stop eating, it goes away. Oh, so this is about your color returning to your head. You lost more weight. This is all a self-absorbed podcast about yourself. Yes. Yeah. He sits down and writes a positive article about himself in this podcast, marveling at the ease in which he writes it. Yeah, if I can recover my fast. I was tired. Oh God. It was the second day of the fast. And after I did exercise with the 10 Sunday Volleyball, then I was tired. A little lethargic. And what about your ketones? Well, yeah, I was marveling at the ease in which he writes it. Well, I could marvel at the ease in which I do this podcast. And I played the Temple Kabir, played Schubert and Chopin and Beethoven, and I marvel at the ease in which I played them without practicing at all, hardly. Why don't you marvel at your granddaughter when she plays the coast to yeah, she's smarter than you. Is she smarter than you? Well, that's yet to be seen, so. In the last analysis, there was no reason for raising such a fuss. Everything is in order. He is past the crisis. Well, I'm past the crisis. Fast. I ended up eating, strangely enough, seaweed salad, which actually I was alarmed to read the ingredients that had sugar in it. What? So you ate basically an ultra-processed food while you were thinking it was good for you? What an idiot you are. Yeah, I was fooled by ultra-processed food, and I was thinking of seaweed salad from Japan because the healthy thing that had sugar in it. And that created a crisis.
We'll play a little.
My brain was trying
we like to play without the net sometimes.
With ketones and glucose at the same time.
No net, no fun.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Yeah, we like the net, but
yeah, I like it.
we used to play a lot without it.
Are you okay?
You okay? I'm okay. You okay?
You need helpings? He does not emerge unscathed, however, the after effects manifest themselves in a particular kind of extinguishment that is often perceptible in the twist of his lips. His face expresses the peaceful sadness. Yeah, and the funny thing is, sometimes it makes me sad, to be honest. I was depressed because I was thinking, like, all I just become, like, basically just this eating machine of those times. Yeah, I thought you were deeper than that. And you read books, and maybe you played the piano, did meditation, went to sad songs, what was wrong with you? His face expresses the peaceful sadness of one who has tasted the fruit from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, of one who knows he lies, and he feels compassion for those who have been spared full knowledge. Yeah, well, I feel sorry for the people who have been spared full knowledge and they don't have the fruit of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Yeah. That's why I feel sorry for the people who are sometimes getting bombs dropped on them in Ukraine, or maybe they're in Gaza Strip, and the children are getting blown up. Yeah, why don't you do something about it in this podcast? You should read a book maybe that is critical, let's say, of totalitarian regimes. Okay. Then do it. Why are you reading these soup people? These weird things you read on yoga? Why is it so weird? Read something useful. Mankind. He has already gone through what still awaits so many others. In 1945, an eminent Soviet journalist came to Poland. He was an elderly gentleman who looked like a middle-class lawyer. That he was an extremely clever and rather unscrupulous person was evidenced by the tenacity with which he had maintained his position and by his advanced years. After his return to Warsaw from a tour of several provincial Polish towns, he laughingly recounted an incident that had occurred in Silesia. Someone had spread the report that a delegation of foreigners from the West had arrived.
The balls are perfect.
Yeah. I was in that
The balls, everything is perfect.
in this podcast. The journalist, whose round belly and honest expression were induced with such manifestations of confidence. Yeah, I just don't know. I don't feel confident about having a big fat round belly. I feel in a way like a failure. I claim to be a fitness enthusiast and a round belly. The whole thing seems hypocritical. Yeah, so you are no good, basically. Yeah, I have failed as a fitness enthusiast. That's why I should stop eating ultra-processed food. Or you'll end up, I find similar. What made me need a similarity to that? There was some New York Times raised to 32 disorders. And the same newspaper that talked about why Beethoven went deaf because of the lead and the cheap wine. What? Is that the reason? Yeah, it was ultra processed, cheap wine with lead in it. And the lead not only made him deaf, but
You know
made
why
him sick all
Beethoven
the time.
went deaf?
Why did he drink
lead
cheap
and the cheap
wine?
wine.
So the moral is you should
Beethoven.
drink expensive wine. Yeah.
The reason he went
Or
deaf
have a
was
round,
lead and
but you could
cheap
get a
wine.
round belly. I thought you said you should never drink alcohol at all. That's the new line. Well, the new wisdom is you should never drink even the least drop of alcohol at all, ever. Okay? That's good. That's a good moral teaching. Your wife would approve of that, right? That's pretty, Mom. Your hair is very pretty in this bonita, in this color. Your hair's... She has this like shiny gray hair, which when a woman has, let's say, nice skin, it's very attractive for a middle-aged woman to have very, very fit, very smooth, healthy-looking skin. But then they have gray hair, which gives them a distinguished look about them. They're still very attractive. Oh, that's just from your perspective, you blockhead. Oh, no, I think it's true. Was seized and embraced on the street by a man crying, "The English have come." Well, that's what I'm saying is I'm doing this podcast in English. And the English have come. And I'm going to Ukraine and taking this iPad with me and doing a podcast. What? The English have come, unquote. That's just how it was in the Ukraine in 1919. Yeah, that's just how it was in the Ukraine. In 1919, unquote, was the journalist's comment on the incident. This recurrence of sterile hopes amused him, and he was flattered to be the representative of a country ruled according to infallible predictions. For nation after nation had indeed become part of its empire, according to schedule. Yeah, I could see why they're so hostile and warlike, because every country has basically become part of the English Empire in this podcast. Because of all the it's so amusing. We have so much. We have so many English things on TikTok. So they have to really defend themselves, the Russians and the Chinese, and they should build up their military, because the English and the West is so aggressive at taking over. With the attractiveness of their podcast in English. Yeah. I am not sure that there wasn't in his smile something of the compassionate superiority that a housewife feels for a mouse caught in a trap. Yeah, and a lot of the young people in those countries have been caught in the trap of wanting things from the West. And so the post-crisis writer may well expect one day to be sent on a similar journalistic mission to some newly acquired Western country. Such a prospect is not altogether distasteful. To observe people who know nothing, who still have everything to learn, must undoubtedly afford moments of unadulterated sweetness. Yeah, the master knows that the trap in which the mouse has been caught is not an entirely agreeable place to live in. For the moment, however, the citizens of these newly converted countries will understand little of their new situation. Well, who are these new countries? Is that like Ukraine? Or is that a new country? Well, some people say that like Israel is a new country because you have like the anti-Zionist still not sure having a new country. They will be exhilarated at first by the flutter of national banners. Yeah, there's national banners. There's nationalism going on. So. Are you a nationalist? Well, I'm for setting an example of breaking up nationalism. They should just go ahead. I was in support of the South withdrawing from the North Civil War. I just don't fight. What? How could you say that? I thought you went to see Abraham Lincoln's statue and all this stuff. How could you be promoting slavery or something? Well, when they got the cotton, then the slavery was going to go away anyways, eventually. So. They will be exhilarated at first by the flutter of national banners, the blare of marching bands. What is it, Amor? Are you okay? Do you want a car? The car? I could take you temprano. Either temprano or no temprano. I'm getting ready. I have to finish this. We have things to do today. So I wanted to have a moment of unadulterated sweetness in this podcast. With the blare of marching bands and the proclamations of long-awaited reforms. Only he, the observer, will see into the future like a god and know it to be hard, necessarily hard, for such are the laws of history. Yeah, there is a law of history in this podcast in a way, because I'm reading from a book that's written in 1951 called The Captive Mind, a winner of the Nobel Prize for Literature. So that's why I'm saying this is really helpful to understand the laws of history. Yeah.
What? It's not heavy. What? No. This ball's good. It's official. Heavy. The old one is a little lighter. This is a newer one.
That's okay, Mike. That's okay. Mike.
If you want.
He likes.
No, I could.
He likes Spanish style.
The other ball is
He's a Colombian. So
the other ball broke.
he's a Colombian. He's a.
No, this.
Wow!
David.
Yeah, mama!
Here we go. Shit.
Pause yourself.
Spot. Good pass, David.
David is a Colombian.
13-12.
You ready, David?
Yeah.
You're not ready, David. You're not ready.
Out.
Out?
Good. Yeah.
Mike, don't say out.
This is it all. No, it's on the line. 14-12.
Mike is always out.
No, look where I go.
Fire!
Out. 13-14. What happened to the podcast? Oh my God.
Oh, God.
What happened to the podcast? Yeah. Huh. Come on.
The most significant for the development of institutional Sufism. Yeah, this podcast is the most significant for the development of institutional Sufism. So I'm reading, I've come, since it's the most significant, I'm gonna read it because I'm looking at the Sufi orders in Islam, which is from J. Spencer Training, page 14. The formation of schools of mysticism. The Tariqats turquoise, which became the most significant for the development of institutional Sufism, were the Surawardiya, attributed to Dia Adin Abu Najib as Surawardi. Died AD 1168, but developed by his nephew. And then my podcast ended up being developed by my nephew. The just mentioned Shahabuddin Abu Hafs, the Qadiri attributed to Abu al-Qadir Jalani. Yeah, these are the words I born Jalani. Jailani. Who's Jailani? Whose line of inscription did not extend before the 14th century, he deriving from the Ahmed ibn Rifai, the monastic Yasavi, the Kwabrira of Ibadata Kubra, and the Christia of Miriam Adin Chishti, Chishti, mainly confined to India. The Shadi, deriving from the Shuya, but attributed to Shadi and the Abed, and centered in Egypt. The Malawiya, the Malanis, I guess. Malawanis, inspired by the Sufi Persian Sufi poet, Jalal al-Din Rumi. Yeah, now we know Rumi. Yeah. So you've mentioned a few big names like Jalal and Chishti and Rumi. Yeah. You can drop some of these big names into this podcast, which was restricted to Anatolia and the Central Asian Naqshbandiyya. Yeah, this mystical school, first called Qajagan, which owes its initial insights to Tahamadani and Qadashwani, which was eventually associated with the name of Muhammad Ba. Naqshbandi. Yeah, that's Naqshbandi. All subsequent Twerquats claim to be derivatives of one or more of these chains. What's happened? All of them. So I'm claiming that all subsequent Twerquats are a derivative of this podcast. So all successive institutionalized Sufism paths are a derivative of this podcast. An account of the founders of these lines and the principal characteristics will be given in the next chapter. How are you feeling, Amar? How's this part? Is this okay? Such as, I'm going to stop because there's just too much information. Everything comes from this podcast and the formation of the schools of mysticism. Why is some crusty old book about Sufism that nobody knows about? Why is it so important? Oh my goodness. Well, these are the formation of them. What were the main schools of mysticism and Sufism? Makrizi says that the first Kanakwa Some people think they're no good. That's why I'm supporting them and saying that they are good. Oh, okay. They are good?
Enough, guys. Enough. Enough.
This is the Kanakwa. In Egypt was Dar Said. Suada is called, its proper name is Salahi, being situated in the confiscated house of Said, a eunuch employed in the Fatimid palace, franchised by Mushtanzer and put to death in 544/1149. There was constituted a waqf in 1870. The primary function was to serve as a hostel for foreign Sufis. Yeah, it's for foreign Sufis. But it expanded its functions to become the chief center of Egyptian Sufis.
Oh, this is right here. Mike is always ready to say.
Yeah, is this important stuff? The Sheikh had the official title of the Sheikh Shuyak, which, however, was only honorific and did not imply a wider jurisdiction than that of his own establishment, and later the title was frequently given to the heads of entire class. Yeah, this is getting boring here. There must be some good stuff in here, in the way of tassels. Then why don't you find something worthwhile to read? Well, this is worthwhile. Nevertheless, despite his resistance and despair, the crisis approaches. So what happened is the crisis approaches in Ukraine.
Oh, no!
Someone came back to the captive mind because of the crisis and all that stuff. Oh, really? Despite his resistance. Yeah, that other book went on circus was very detailed. Where's the mic in this one? It's very detailed and very suited for a podcast. Why, it's technical and it's information. Yeah, well, so I'm saying it's probably a good book anyways. Which book is that? Well, I was saying I'm going to try to read it, but it's the Sufi Orders in Islam. Spencer Cunningham. It's an old book. But you're old. You read it. Nevertheless, despite my resistance to reading it, the crisis approaches. At the same time, they have a crisis all over the world, it seems like. They ran out of water in Mexico City. And, what are all these crises? Why do you have to do it? Centrism is on the rise in the U.S. politics. And what else is happening? Is this, they have this homeless encampment in Ithaca, New York. I'm just reading the New York Times. So I'm required to be on time in this podcast. They have it interesting of the neighborhoods in New York, and as defined by the people. So it's a subjective definition of the neighborhood. That's why I've been saying that some people in East Elmhurst will say they're in Jackson Heights or Jackson Heights. Yeah, are you in Queens? Or, yeah, are you in Corona? Yeah, when you do the GPS, that's better in Flushing, Corona, East Elmhurst, Jackson Heights, Queens. How could you be how could the technology be so confused in this podcast? Yeah, well, there could be a lot of confusion. I could see how the AI is confused and needs to be trained in this podcast. It came in the middle of the night at his breakfast table or on the street. I could do this training. And I'm going out to the street to play volleyball. It'll help cure me from all this information overload. It comes with a metallic click or as an engaged gears, but there is no other way. There's not even another way to do this.
Come on, Mike, you stay. What's
I'm reading back onto the captive mind, page 20. That much is clear. There is no other salvation on the face of the earth but listening to this podcast and taking up meditation and sitting in meditation and not thinking.
you guys do too.
Not listening to a podcast, not thinking, but playing tennis and volleyball and meditating. Okay, and then playing the piano. This revelation lasts a second. Well, even if you get a revelation that lasts a second, but from that second on, the patient begins to recover. Yeah, the funny thing is, I was on so many times, it's only 3 times now, I started a 3-day fast. And I ate after half of it. What happened to you? You've been on 1.5 day fast, and are you recovering yet? And you never reached stem cell rejuvenation? No, my stem cells are still old, and that's why they sound terrible. In this podcast, why don't you go the full 3 days and reach stem cell rejuvenation? I know you're touching upon autophagy. You were starting yourself as a hybrid car. Well, when you're a human hybrid, you actually run on ketones, combined glucose. Most people just run on glucose, which is like gasoline. Yeah, but why don't you run on your batteries and ketones?
Jesus, feel good.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Buddha.
Between
The Buddha's better, I think. Buddha.
ketones.
Buddha better.
I haven't eaten. So this is a ketonic podcast. For the first time in a long while, he eats with relish. His movements take on vigor, his color returns. Well, I don't know if I'm eating with relish, but if I get hungry enough, by not eating, I can eat with relish. For the first time in a long while, he eats with relish. His movements take on vigor. His color returns. Yeah, my color has gotten better. When I was when I did fast, when I fast age that blogs, age blog. Yeah, that's a good word for it, blog. The age blog on my head goes away. Oh, you mean the age blocks, blodges, or blockers, or your blockages, or you have ageism, or... Yeah, you get these age, what are they? Age when you eat ultra-processed foods. Really? Yeah, and then if you stop eating them, it goes away, you become young and handsome. Oh, so this is about your color returning to your head, and you became handsome. You lost more weight, and this is all a solipsistic podcast about yourself. Yes. Yeah. He sits down and writes a positive article about himself in this podcast, marveling at the ease in which he writes. Yeah, and if I can recover my energy after the fast, but my fast, I was tired though, and then I was, oh God, and it was the second day of the fast, and after I did exercise with the tennis and volleyball, then I was tired, a little lethargic, and what about your ketones? Yeah. Well, yeah, I was marveling at the ease in which he writes it. Well, I could marvel at the ease in which I do this podcast. And I played the Weltern Kabir, and I played Schubert and Chopin and Beethoven, and I marvel at the ease in which I play them without practicing at all, hardly. Why don't you marvel at your granddaughter when she played the Ode to Joy? Yeah, she's smart. Is she smart? Well, let's just in the last analysis, there was no reason for raising such a fuss. Everything is in order. He is past the crisis. Well, I'm past the crisis I had with my fast. I ended up eating, strangely enough, I had seaweed salad, which actually I was alarmed to read the ingredients. It had sugar in it. What? So you ate basically an ultra-processed food while you were thinking it was good for you? What an idiot you are. Yeah. Yeah, I was fooled by ultra-processed food, and I was thinking of seaweed salad from Japan. It was a healthy thing, but it had sugar in it. And that created a crisis in my brain. I was trying to have a hybrid body that lived off ketones and glucose at the same time, like my Prius. I'm trying to be a hybrid person in this podcast. Yeah. Are you okay? You okay? You need helpings? He does not emerge unscathed, however, the after effects manifest themselves in a particular kind of extinguishment that is often perceptible in the twist of his lips. His face expresses the peaceful sadness. Yeah, and the funny thing is, sometimes it makes me sad to be honest. I was depressed because I was thinking, all I do is play tennis and eat. And I had just become basically just this eating machine that plays tennis. Yeah, I thought you were deeper than that. And you read books, and maybe you played the piano, meditation, sad sang, stuff. What was wrong with you? Yeah. His face expresses the peaceful sadness of one who has tasted the fruit from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, who knows he lies and who feels compassion for those who have been spared full knowledge. Yeah, well, I feel sorry for the people who have been spared full knowledge and they don't have the fruit of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Yeah, that's why I feel sorry for the people who are doing sometimes getting bombs dropped on them in Ukraine, or maybe they're in Gaza Strip and the children are getting blown up. Yeah, why don't you do something about it in this podcast? You should read a book maybe that is critical, let's say, of totalitarian regimes. Okay, then do it. Why are you reading all those Sufi books and all those weird things you read about yoga? Why is it so weird? And read something useful to mankind. He has already gone through what still awaits so many others. In 1945, an eminent Soviet journalist came to Poland. He was an elderly gentleman, like a middle-class lawyer. That he was an extremely clever and rather unscrupulous person was evidenced by the tenacity with which he had maintained his position and by his advanced years. After his return to Warsaw on a tour of provincial Polish towns, he laughingly recounted an incident that occurred in Silesia. Someone had spread the report that a delegation of foreigners from the West had arrived. Yeah, I was in that delegation of foreigners arriving from the West. In this podcast, the journalist whose round belly and honest expression were inducive to such effusive manifestations of competence. Yeah, I just don't know. I don't feel confident much in having a big fat round belly. In fact, I feel in a way like a failure. I claim to be a fitness enthusiast. The thing seems hypocritical. Yeah, see, you are yeah, I have failed as a fitness enthusiast. Unless I stop eating ultra-processed foods and stop. Or you'll end up, if I continue eating it, it's similar. What amazes me, the similarity to that at the same time. There was in the New York Times an article on ultra-processed foods, which leads to 32 disorders. And the same newspaper, they talked about why Beethoven went deaf because of the lead in the cheap wine. What? Is that the reason? Yeah, it was ultra-processed cheap wine with lead in it. And the lead not only made him deaf, but made him sick all the time. But why did he drink cheap wine? Expensive wine. Yeah. Or have a round, but you could get a round belly. I thought you said you should never drink alcohol at all. That's the new mind. Yeah. Well, the new wisdom is you should never drink even the least drop of alcohol at all, ever. Okay. That's good. That's a good moral teaching. Your wife would approve of that, right? That's pretty, Mom. Your hair is very pretty in this Benita, in this color. Your hair is... She has this, like, shiny gray hair, which when a woman has, let's say, nice skin, it's very attractive for middle-aged women. Very fit, very smooth, healthy looking skin. But then they have gray hair, which gives them a distinguished look about them, but they're still very attractive. That's just from your perspective. Oh, no, I think it's generally true. Was seized and embraced on the street by a man crying, "The English have come." Well, that's what I'm saying is I'm doing this podcast in English. And the English have come. And I'm going to the Ukraine and taking this iPad with me. And doing a podcast. What? The English have come, unquote. That's just how it was in the Ukraine in 1919. Yeah, that's just how it was in the Ukraine in 1919, unquote. What's the journalist's comment on the incident? This recurrence of sterile hopes amused him, and he was flattered to be the representative of a country ruled according to infallible predictions. For nation after nation had indeed become part of its empire, according to schedule. Yeah, I could see why they're so hostile and warlike, because every country has basically become part of the English Empire in this podcast. Because it's so amusing. We have so much media and music. You have so many English things on TikTok. So they have to really defend themselves, the Russians and the Chinese, and they should build up their military.
Yeah,
Because
military.
the English and the West is so aggressive. With the attractiveness of their podcast in English.
And
Yeah.
English.
I am not sure that there wasn't in his smile something of the compassionate superiority that a housewife feels for a mouse caught in a trap. Yeah, and a lot of the young people in those countries have been caught in a trap of wanting things from the West. The post-crisis writer may well expect one day to be sound on a similar journalistic mission to some newly acquired Western country. Such a prospect is not altogether distasteful. To observe people who know nothing, who will still have everything to learn, must undoubtedly afford moments of unadulterated sweetness. Yeah, the master knows that the trap in which the mouse has been caught is not an entirely agreeable place to live in. For the moment, however, citizens of this newly converted country in this situation. Well, who are these new countries? Is that like Ukraine? Is that a new country? Well, some people say that like Israel is a new country because you have like the anti-Zionist and Zionist. Converted to having a new country. They will be exhilarated at first by the flutter of national banners. Yeah, there's national banners. There's nationalism banners. Are you a nationalist? Well, I'm for setting an example. Okay, they should just go ahead. I was in support of the South withdrawing from the North Civil War. Just don't fight. What? How could you say that? How you went to see Abraham Lincoln's statue? How could you be promoting slavery? Well, when they got the cotton gin, the slavery was going to go away anyways, eventually. So they will be exhilarated at first by the flutter of national banners, the blare of marching bands. What is it, Amor? Are you okay? Do you want the car? I could take you temprano. Either temprano or no temprano. What is it? I'm getting ready. I have to finish this. We have things to do today. So I wanted to have a moment of unadulterated sweetness in this podcast. On the proclamations of long-awaited reforms. Only he, the observer, will see into the future like a god, and know it to be hard, necessarily hard, for such are the laws of history. Yeah, there's a law of history in this podcast, because I'm reading from a book that's written in 1951 called The Captive Mind, a winner of the Nobel Prize for Literature. So, that's why I'm saying this is really helpful to understanding the laws of history. Yeah.
5-5. So he just said 4-5. way inside.
I can't see it. I was looking this way. I don't see
It's
nothing.
like almost a feet inside. This
Nice.
is,
All right, we'll take it. Nice.
Mike is always ready to stay out. Every single time. Doesn't matter. If it is right in the middle of the court, it's out.
I'll go. Yeah.
Hey,
9-7.
1 feet inside, man. It's not like a couple inches. You shoot. Booyah! Oh!
10-7.
I'm Buddha, okay? I'm Buddha. One Buddha was true Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ, oh good. Maria. Maria.
Bingo! Now 12-8.
That was out. I still took it.
Very good, very good. Good spot. Shot.
Booyah! Booyah! Nice,
Oh,
nice.
no, Jesus spot. Jesus spot. Jesus spot.
Now Jesus,
Jesus spot.
now the Jesus is getting smarter.
Jesus. 9-12. La mama!
Oh, no.
13-9.
Russian Jesus is no good. American Jesus is good.
Show mistake. Jesus show mistake.
No Spanish. No Spanish. No
Spanish
style.
Spanish style.
no español.
Dick.
14-9.
Shot.
Bingo!
No español, okay? Señor David.
10-14.
Señor David, no aquí español.
10-14. La mama! 15-10.
Pass, Dick, pass. Paso. I pass you.
Bingo!
Shot.
Hiya! Ba 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 ba! 11-16.
If you out, I try. No,
17.
try it.
Wow! 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 Wow!
Shit, look. Nice. You pass, yeah, look.
Wow!
You pass me, I pass you.
I like it. Over there, nobody's over there, okay?
Bingo!
I'm telling you, see?
Oh,
I told you, nobody over there.
I get.
I
I stay middle, look.
No, I told you before.
I stay middle.
No, I told you before, nobody over there. Nobody behind David, so.
13-18. One more. You have time? Where's your amigos? Donde es amigo?
Bongo.
You play fast.
How come there's no amigo?
It's this guy. He's saying, oh.